It's safe to say that in recent years, Dodge saw a lot of success with their V8 powered performance cars such as the Scat Packs and the Hellcats on the Challengers and the Chargers, and because of that, they decided to venture out the performance features to other cars in their lineup, with one of those cars being the Dodge Durango. The Durango has had a V8 powered trim available as early as the 2000s, but they never had a V8 engine that focused on performance first and towing second. But in 2018, all of that was going to change as Dodge announced the introduction of the Durango SRT 392, now equipped with the 6.4 liter naturally aspirated V8 engine producing 485 horsepower, which is ultimately the same engine used in the Dodge Challenger and the Dodge Charger Scat Packs. This car was an immediate success with parents who wanted to have the comfort and the luxury of an SUV, but a performance of a sedan, and it started selling off the lot much quicker than Dodge anticipated, letting them know that there's definitely a new market here ready for them to discover. During the same period, Jeep, which is Dodge's brother company, announced the release of the Jeep Trackhawk that was equipped with the Hellcat engine, producing 707 horsepower, blowing all the SUVs out of the park. That car was an immediate success, and alongside the success of the Dodge Durango SRT, Dodge figured they couldn't go wrong by giving the Durango the Hellcat treatment as well. With that in mind, they introduced us to the Dodge Durango Hellcat in 2021 as a 1-year limited edition trim equipped with the notorious 6.2 liter supercharged Hemi, putting out 710 horsepower and 645 pound-feet of torque. At the time, making it the SUV with the most amount of horsepower from the factory, beating out the Jeep Trackhawk by 3 extra horses. Before I talk about the performance stats of this vehicle, I wanted to point out the fact that this Titanic of a car weighs 5,700 pounds. With that out of the way, the Hellcat Durango can do the 0 to 60 in just 3.4 seconds and the quarter mile in 11.9 seconds, which is almost as fast as the Challenger and the Charger Hellcats that weigh about 1,200 pounds less. If you're wondering to yourself, how could this car that weighs more and has the same engine as the Challenger and the Charger be barely slower? And that's really because this car is an all-wheel drive, meaning no spinning when you're taking off, which definitely helps with your performance stats, plus the 295 45 20 all-around tires definitely help with that as well. Performance wasn't the only thing in mind with this car, as it was still a 3-row SUV, which means that Dodge had to make sure that there are comfort features available as well, and they did just that by updating the Uconnect system to this 10.1-inch screen alongside these heated and ventilated Alcantara and leather seats that are on all 3 rows. You could also opt into the infotainment package for the backseat passengers to receive their very own screens to keep the kids busy during long road trips, but let's be honest, they'll be too distracted with the sound of the supercharger anyways. Due to a high demand on these Dodge Durango Hellcats, Dodge decided to go back on their word, and they actually brought back the Hellcat Durango for 1 more year in 2023, and nothing really changed as far as performance goes. However, I would like to point out the fact that the 710 horsepower performance car also has a towing capacity of 8,700 pounds, meaning you could tow a boat to the beach for a fun activity, or you could even put your other Mopar cars to take to the drag strips. And for when you are just by yourself, you could also use that same Uconnect system that we talked about earlier to navigate to the performance pages on your vehicle, where you could put this beast in different modes such as the track mode for a firmer steering wheel and suspensions. Outside of the Ram TRX, I think this is definitely the most versatile Hellcat, as this car definitely has a specific audience, but I think that audience is truly enjoying this vehicle, and that's all that really matters. Unfortunately for that audience, or any Dodge fan really, 2024 was the final year that we will see these supercharged V8 powered beasts due to emission regulations, but I think the Durango name will continue to live on, and hopefully one day we'll get these V8s back in these cars.